Testing, 1, 2. All right, here we go.
You got it now. We're ready now? Yes. You got it.
All right, good evening. Welcome to KSBO Presents. We are at All Star Lanes and Casino in Silverdale, Washington. We are here for the 38th annual Tournament of Champions, sponsored by Talbot Excavating, and the Tournament of Non-Champions, sponsored by the Garage Bar and Grill. And we're starting off. So in your Tournament of Champions, which is on lanes 33 and 34, we have the number 5 seed of Nick Bachteller facing the number 4 seed of Mike Karch. Mike, being the higher qualifier, wanted Nick to start first. And in your Garage Bar and Grill Tournament of Non-Champions, we have number 5 seed Zach Cox facing number 4 seed Rafe Barone. And Rafe wanted Zach to start. Your non-champions on 35 and 36. This is our first match. And Rafe and Zach start off with a strike. Nick Bachteller started off with a 10 pin, missed it, and Mike Karch throws and leaves a 4 pin. And Mike covers his spare. Want to thank those of you that are starting to tune in on Facebook Live. This is our 38th annual Tournament of Champions. And Rafe comes in high flush. That gives him 2 in a row. And we got Mike coming up on lane 33. And just a little bit high, leaves the 4 pin again. So that's 2 4 pins in a row for Mike. Let me know.
Okay, I'll let you know.
All right, here we come. Zach Cox on lane 36. Nice flush. So the non-champs are perfect so far. And Mike barely gets that 4 pin. All right, so now we got Nick Bachteller up on lane 34. Nick today shot games at 251 as he leaves the 3 pin, 174, 225, 236, and 209 to have a qualifying score of 1095. In the semifinals, he shot games of 220, 191, and 234, winning one of his match play matches for an additional 30 bonus pins to end up at 1770 and your number 5 seed. And Zach shoots 3 in a row right there. I'll give you the other bowlers' scores here in a second. And Nick covers. And now we got Rafe Barone coming up on lane 36. Today, Rafe shot games of 190, 181, 170, 193, and 203 for a 937. In the semifinals, he shot games of 201, 203, and 228, winning 2 of his match play matches for 60 additional bonus pins to finish at 1629. And he comes in high, lucky to only leave the 4-7. Secondary, he had a split. And Rafe is your number 4 seed. All right, Nick gets a strike there. going for his spare, and he covers it. All right, Mike Karch coming up on lane 34. Today, Mike shot games of 258, 238, 198, 203, and 255. And he comes in a little high, but carries the pocket. In the semifinals, Mike shot 169, 222, and 228, winning one of his match play matches for 30 additional bonus pins to end at 1801 and the number 4 seed. And Rafe's coming in, crosses over the head, lucky to just leave the 3 pin. And Mike doubles up. And Rafe covers his spare. All right, Nick coming up on lane 34. We are in the 4th frame. And Nick gets them all to spin. That gives him 2 in a row, keeping it close in the champs. Nick Bachteller is trailing by 10 pins, 59 to 69. Now we have Zach Cox coming up on lane 36. Ooh, nice shaker there. That's a ham bone. So Zach today shot 187, 224, 153, 203, and 164 for a 931. In the semifinals, as Nick gets 3 in a row. In the semifinals, Zach shot 233, 188, and 227, winning 1.5 of his matches, so he tied 1 match, for 45 bonus pins to end at 1624 and the number 5 seed. All right, so now we got Zach up on 35, going for 5 in a row. Very nice. And after, so now Zach has a lead, 120 to 77. Mike Karch like that one, gets the message to come across, takes the 9 pin out at the knees. That gives him 3 in a row, still maintaining a 10 pin lead. And Rafe comes back and gets a strike of his own. So after 5 frames in the non-champs tournament, Rafe Perone's trailing Zach Cox, 97 to 120. And here we go with Mike on lane 33. Ooh, comes in a little light. Leads the week 7. So I don't know if you can see it in the picture there, but everybody's bowling for that Eagle Trophy right there in the middle. The winners of these matches. So the champion of the champs tournament and the champion of the non-champs tournament will go head-to-head for a King of the Hill to get that Eagle Trophy. And Mike covers his spare. Good cover by Rafe. Let's see if Nick can keep the pressure on, get another strike for a ham bone. Ooh, it comes in a little weak, leaves the 6 pin. messenger just lays there. We almost had ourselves a 6-pack. Zach is left with the 9-pin to pick up. His streak ends at 5. And Nick covers his spare, still trailing by 10 pins. And Zach covers that spare. So after 6 frames in the the non-champions, Zach Cox is leading Rafe Barone 149 to 117. And Nick comes back. Oh, gets the tap on the 10, but it does not fall. That's a 9 count in the 7th. Still trailing by 8 pins. Oh, and he gets the tip on the 4. We're going to need a respot. 4-pin. So that 4-pin slid came unspotted. The rack took it out. So we're going to need to respot that 4-pin and make a score correction. Yeah, we're going to need to do a score correction on Zach. And Mike comes back with a strike, widens his lead on Nick just a little bit. All right, here we go. I think everything's fixed there. So Zach is going to go for his spare. In the meantime, we got, after 7 frames in the Champs tournament, Mike Karch has widened his lead just a little bit, and now leads by 11, 148 to 137. And Zach covers his spare. Giving a little bit of hope to Rafe there. The best Zach can do is 168. Or excuse me, 268. And Mike doubles up on his strikes. So Rafe needs a strike here to try and keep a little bit of a pace. Got a little bit out. Comes up nice. Little kick of the feet. And gives him a strike in the 7th, and now trails 168 to 137. All right, Nick needs this one. Oh, leaves another weak pen. Kind of rare there for Nick, leaving those 10 pins. Not over yet. Best Mike Karch can do is 258. Best Nick can do is 226. Rafe comes in a little light. Leaves himself the 245. And Nick covers the spare. That's 3 9 counts in a row for Nick. And Rafe covers his spare nicely. All right, Nick needs a strike right here. Boom. Gets the messenger to come across, tomahawks that 7-pin. Gets a strike in the 9th, exactly what he needed. Zach broke over Brooklyn on that one. Leaves the 6-9-10 to pick up. Just leaving an opening for Rafe right there. Oh, wow. Mike moves to the left just a little bit. Hit about 18 at arrows. Kept it nice and tight. That's 3 in a row going into the 10th frame. So back score for Nick Bachteller is 226. $258 for Mike, going on a 230 pace. Zach Cox covers his spare. 227 is max score for Zach. That's 4 in a row. Got ourselves a ham bone for Mike. And that's going to shut Nick out. So Mike will move on. Nick will finish in 5th place. All right, Zach leaves the bucket on that one. Looks like he's lost his line there a little bit. Ooh, Mike comes in a little high, gets the kick from behind on the 4-pin. That gives him 5 in a row. Secures the match. He will move on. And he will face the number 3 seed of Tanner Triggs. Oh, Zach almost chopped that one. Stays clean. Gives him a spare in the 9th. And Mike crosses over Brooklyn, leaves an 8 count to finish with a score of 256. Oh, nice strike there by Rafe. He needed that. So max score for Zach is 241 now. And Nick gets a double there. It's always good to see. Keep fighting till the very end, even though he knows the match was lost. So max score for Rafe is 227. Right now, trailing by 24 pins in the 10th frame. Oh, and he gets the kick from behind on the 4-pin to keep his tournament alive. That's 2 in a row. Needs to keep another one going. Keep pressure on Zach. Ooh, got that one out. Needs to hurry. Ooh, don't know what took out the 7, but it chopped it right off at the knees. That's 3 in a row. 217 right now. Nick covers his spare to finish at a respectable 213. Ooh, got that one way out. Comes in light, leaves the 2, 4, 5, 7, and finishes with a game of 223. We do have the possibility of a tie. In the event of a tie, we will do a one ball roll off. And the higher seed, which is Rafe, will have choice of order and lane. Oh, gonna go Brooklyn. Leaves the 6th pin. All right, so he's got 219 right now. He needs to cover this spare, and then he needs to get a decent count. And he covers that 6th pin. So now Zach needs 4 pins or better to move on. And that should do it. You get 6. And Zach finishes with a game of 226. And Rafe will finish in 5th position and take home a check for $240. And Zach gets the honor of moving on to face the number 3 seed bowler in Stu McMaster. All right, so we will come right back. We're going to hand out some checks for the other cashers. So those of you on Facebook Live, just hang out. In your Garage Brawl Grill Tournament of Non-Champions, Zach Cox defeats Rafe Barone 226 to 223. Zach will move on to face Stu McMaster. And in your Talbot Excavating Tournament of Champions, Mike Karch defeats Nick Bachteller 256 to 213. Mike will move on to face number 3 seed Tanner Triggs.
All right, so in your Garage Bar Grill Tournament of Non-Champions, Zach Cox defeats Rafe Barone 226 to 223. Zach will move on to face the number 3 seed in Stu McMaster. And in your Talbot Excavating Tournament of Champions, Mike Karch defeats Nick Bachteller 256 to 213. Mike will move on to face number 3 seed Tanner Triggs.
It's my turn to bomb your ass up again. I know.
Checks. Okay, non-champs first. Oh, I got you non-champs too? Yeah, just because you're a champ. I'm the garage guy. Okay. And here's the champs. The non-champs will be first. Okay. All right, and handing out our checks today, representing the Garage Bar Grill, Sam Glenn. Okay, first off, your Garage Bar Grill Tournament of Non-Champions finished in 12th place for $130, Tommy Schroeder. Finishing in 11th place for $140, Preston Craig. I could say so much. Picked up for Princeton was his dad. Finishing in 10th place for $150, Jeff Hellmans.
Go Chiefs!
Yep.
Finishing in 9th place for $160, Ashland Jamrock. Finishing in 8th place for $170, Mike Craig Jr. I kind of expected less than he did. Finishing in 7th place for $180, Jessica Hellmans. And finishing in 6th place for $190, Tracy Allman. In your Talbot Estimating Tournament of Champions, finishing in 10th place for $120, Ryan Showalter. Finishing in 9th place for $130, Anthony Sanders. He might be upstairs. Finishing in 8th place for $140, AJ Brockett. Finishing in 7th place for $150, Scott Halverson. And finishing in 6th place for $160, Charlie Lynch.
On that end of the stick. You want me to go find him? He's probably upstairs.
That's what I was thinking, he's up there.
Yeah. If you want to go, he's up there with the key. All right, 2 balls on each lane for Tanner and Stu. Here we go. In your Talbot Excavating Tournament of Champions, we have your number 4 seed, Mike Karch, facing your number 3 seed, Tanner Triggs. And in your Garage Barn Grill Tournament of Non-Champions, we have number 5 seed, Zach Cox, against number 3 seed, Stu McMaster. And the higher seed of Tanner Triggs wants Mike to start. And the higher seed of Stu wants Zach to start. And Zach starts off with a strike. And Mike Karch comes in. Gets a runaway strike there. All right, Stu McMaster up on lane 36. And he gets a strike of his own. Now we got Tanner Triggs up on lane 34. All right, that one came in nice and flush. So all 4 bowlers start off with a strike. This is match number 2 in our 38th annual Tournament of Champions and Non-Champions. Oh, and Stu kind of gets a runaway there. Leaves the 5-7. So as I mentioned earlier, this is also KSBO's 50th anniversary celebration. For 50 years, or 50 seasons, KSBO has brought to you scratch bowling competition throughout the greater Kitsap and Olympic Peninsula area. And Tanner comes in light, leaves the 2-8. So how did KSBO get started? Well, back in 1973, Glenn Gilliott, KSBO's first Secretary of Treasurer, Ralph Fuchs, and our own Gabby Galbraith were riding in a car one day on their way to another bowling tournament. During that trip, they were discussing about having some sort of local tournament event, something similar to the NWBA. They already had pot games that went on at the local bowling alleys here on the Kitsap Peninsula. That drew lots of bowlers every weekend. So they felt they would try to develop an organization similar to the NWBA, but cater to our local bowlers, and thus the KSBO was born. And I don't know how that 9-pin stood there for Zach. In the meantime, Tanner had an open, and so did Stu. And so we got Mike Karch on lane 34 now. And gets the kiss on the 10-pin, it falls, that's 2 in a row. And Zach coming to cover that 9-pin that sat there and wobbled for what seemed like forever. And he got it. So anyway, the first KSBO tournament was held at West Park Lanes on September 27th, 1973. In that tournament, Harry Jones defeated Ralph Halverson to earn the very first KSBO title, and he took home a $151 first place check. There was a total of 8 tournaments in that inaugural season of KSBO. And oh my goodness, Mike gets a blower 710. Yeah, messages going every which way. And since that first tournament, we have seen a lot here in KSBO over the 50 seasons. I'm going to share with you some statistical history. And that's an open in the 3rd for Mike. So he gave it right back to Tanner. In the meantime, Zach has the, what do we got there? The 2-4 to cover. So, in 50 seasons, KSBO has conducted 621 tournaments in 11 different bowling alleys. So back in the day, we had All-Star Lanes, West Park Bowl, Bainbridge Bowl, Bay Bowl, Bremerton Lanes, Highjoy Bowl, Laurel Lanes, Olympic Lanes, Port Angeles Lanes, Hallsbow Lanes, and the Strike Zone. Unfortunately, only 3 of them still exist today. KSBO added our under division in January of 1993, and Tanner gets a nice strike there. The max average at that time was 189. Sean Beck defeated Tim Clemens to earn the first under title. Later, the average for the under division was raised to 194. Then a little bit later, we raised it to 199, then to 200, and now it is at 205. And Stu leaves the week 10. There have been a combined 1,060 individual open and under division champions, comprising of 517 open titles, 267 under titles, 108 Swiss trio titles as Tanner doubles up, 68 quad Swiss titles, and 100 doubles titles. And Stu covers his spare. The first doubles tournament was held at West Park Lanes on November 12, 1983. Allison Oak and Danny Combs defeated Jeff Schwinneman and Steve Force. The first Swiss Trios was also at West Park on April 9, 1988, with Randy Galla, Dick Winders, and Bob Hoskins defeating Bob Zerbrug, Ken Evans, and April Harris. And Mike leaves the 10 pin. And our first quad Swiss was held at Bremerton Lanes on October 11, 2003, with John DeWitt, Gene Harris, Mike Magus, and Ed Garrity defeating Jim Monahan, Denise McMahon, April Harris, and Chris Rowland. Ooh, Mike gets that 10 pin, but just barely. So after 4 frames in our Champions Tournament, Mike is leading 66 to 58, but Tanner is working on a double. And Stu covers his 10 pin. That one right through the nose. Nasty split. 3, 4, 6, 7, 10. And Zach gives a strike there. Looks like he did a ball change. Oh, valiant effort there by Mike. That is his second open of the match. Both of them splits, both of them on lane 33. All right, so here's some more interesting statistics. There have been 163 300 games thrown by 86 different bowlers during KSBO tournaments, with 20 of them thrown by the legendary Lonnie Sharkey. The next closest to him is Mike Van Winkle with 7 of them. Oh, and that was a nice shaker there. Carried everything but the kitchen sink. That gives him a double. And Tanner gets another strike. That's 3 in a row. And Stu went Brooklyn. Tomahawks the 9 as he does so. That gives him a strike. After 5 frames, he's trailing 75 to 88. Tanner stepping up on lane 33, working on 3 in a row. And goes right through the face, leaves the 3-6 pin. All right, so where we leave off? Oh, we did the 300 games. Yeah, we did. Okay. And Stu goes looking again, almost rolls the 3. All right, so we've had 32 800 series thrown during KSBO tournaments by 25 different bowlers. The highest 800 series is an 842 thrown by, guess who? You guessed it, Lonnie Sharkey. He has 6 of them. The next closest are Jeremy Sears and Mike Van Winkle. They both have 2 800 series. And Tanner covered his spare. And we're going to give a shout out to our sponsors here. The KSBO has had the privilege of having 108 Open Division sponsors and 57 Under Division sponsors over the years. Gray Chevrolet, now Gilchrist Chevrolet, was KSBO's longest supporter, sponsoring 39 tournaments in 42 years in both the Open and Under Division. And Mike leads the baby split. We've also had Ace Paving. They sponsored for 30 seasons. West Bayotto sponsored for 28 seasons. Designs Unlimited and Tony's Italian Restaurant sponsored for 21 seasons, as well as All Star Lanes, which sponsored 41 times in 21 seasons and still counting. And we've also had Lakeside Industries, who sponsored 38 times in 18 seasons and counting. And in 2016, Lakeside became KSBO's season sponsor. Plus, we have had many more gracious sponsors, generous sponsors, and supporters throughout the years. Without their support, KSBO would not have been as successful and may not have been able to survive for 50 seasons. All right, so get you caught up on the action. Zach has 3 in a row now. Mike covered his baby split, is trailing 90 to 115. Zach is leading 118 to 95. Comes in a little light, leaves the 2 pin. That looked like a good shot there, but Mike left the 4. So time's starting to run out for Mike. 3 splits in this match. All right, Zach covers his spare.
What do you want?
All right, so here comes Stu coming up in the 7th, trailing by 52 pins. He can string some strikes here. It's still within reach. Oh, and Stu gets a strike. Oh, Tanner comes in light, almost splits the baby. Oh my goodness. Now he's just left with the 7 pin to pick up. And we need to get that 7 pin re-spot. Oh my. Stu is left with a pocket 210. Or 410, excuse me, pocket 410. And we got Charlie back here making comments that are probably going to show up on my audio. So when I go to edit this for TV, I'll have to erase him. All right, well, that's an open for Stu. 133 in the 8th. Tanner covers his spare. Maintains his lead on Mike. So in 7 frames, Tanner's leading by 25, 134 to 109. Both bowlers working on a spare. Excuse me. Oh, nice strike there by Zach. So now after 8 frames in the non-champions, Zach is leading by 34 pins, 167 to 133. That's a good strike there. Looks like Tanner found something there. He's been searching for it a little bit the last couple frames. Oh, Messenger came all the way across, but missed its mark. Zach is left with a 10 pin cover to give him a spare in the 9th. Oh, Mike still came up high. Almost gets the love tap on that 9. All right, so Mike spared. So the best Mike can do right now is 198. Stu gets a strike in the 9th. Tanner can shoot 234. Over here in the non-champs, Stu can shoot 193. Zach can shoot 227. And Stu gets a double. So he can strike out and hope that Zach stumbles. So not over until it's over. Oh, nice strike there by Tanner. That's 2 in a row going into the 9th. 26 pin lead. So first mark will shut out Mike. And those of you on Facebook Live, I apologize for the flickering. The Wi-Fi here keeps fading in and out. So please be patient. At least it hasn't dropped me. It dropped me earlier. So. Oh, and Tanner flags that pocket. Leaves the 1, 2, 4, 10 washout. So there's a distinct possibility that if he misses it, all right, well, we'll address that if it comes. And Stu leaves a 5 pin in the fill to shoot a 192. That saved his tournament right there. That spare will shut out Mike Karch. That was he saved his tournament right there. And Zach gets the first one in the 10th, and that will shut out Stu. All right, so Zach Cox is going to defeat Stu McMaster. And Tanner's going to defeat Mike. Okay, so in your Garage Bar and Grill Tournament of Non-Champions, Zach Cox defeats Stu McMaster 217-192. Zach will move on to face the number 2 seed of Kurt Strutt. And in your Tablet Excavating Tournament of Champions, Tanner Triggs defeats Mike Karch 210-166. And Tanner will move on to face number 2 seed Brian Irwin.
All right, so in your Garage Bar and Grill Tournament of Non-Champions, Zach Cox defeats Stu McMaster with 217-192. Zach will move on to face the number 2 seed in Kurt Strutt. And in your Talbot Excavating Tournament of Champions, Tanner Triggs defeats Mike Karch 210-166. Tanner will move on to face Brian Irwin.
Ball.
All right, here we go. Our next match. In your Garage Barn Grill Tournament of Non-Champions, we have number 5 seed Zach Cox going against number 2 seed Kurt Strepp. Kurt, being the higher qualifier, wants Zach to start, so he'll start on lane 35. And in your Talbot Excavating Tournament of Champions, we have number 3 seed Tanner Triggs facing number 2 seed Brian Irwin. Brian, being the higher seed, wants Tanner to start. So Tanner will start on lane 33. And Zach comes in, starts off with a 10-10. Ooh, wrap 6 on that one. Let's gotta hurry. Ooh. It got the 10 as it was falling into the gutter. And Tanner covers his. All right, so now we got on lane 36, we got Kurt Strepp. Today, Kurt shot games of 180, 149, 190, 205, and 214 to finish with a 938. And he comes in with a nice strike right there. In the semifinals, Kurt found his groove, shooting 230, 259, and 237, winning 2 of his match play matches for 60 additional bonus pins to end at 1724 and the number 2 seed. Now we have Brian Irwin, who starts off with a 7-10 split. So Brian today shot games of 223, 237, 246, 193, and 175. As Kurt leaves a weak 7-10. In the semifinals, Brian, as he takes out just the 10-pin. Brian shot games of 253, 258, and 215, winning all 3 of his match play matches for 90 bonus pins to finish at 1890 to grab the number 2 seed. Interesting thing about Tanner is Tanner, Tanner was pretty much the leader through qualifying and through most of the semifinals. It wasn't until the last game of the semifinals where he shot that 163 where he fell down to the 3rd seed. But it looks like he's working it. And Brian comes back with a strike. And Zach up on lane 36. Oh, and he gets a weak strike. Oh, and Tanner comes in and leaves the 2-8-10. Ouch. I have seen this picked up. Matter of fact, last year I lost a tournament to Ryan Showalter because he was able to pick up the 2-8-10. And Zach gets a light one there. Slaps it off. Well, he takes out two. Kind of returns the favor to Brian. And Kurt gets a nice strike of his own. So Kurt's gone strike, spare, strike. And Zach's gone spare, strike, strike. So we're keeping it close there. All right, let's see if Tanner can recover from that one. Looked like it got away from him just a little bit on the bottom. Oh my! Oh my, and he actually slaps that one off. Oh my. Oh, that was the, let's see, that was the 4-9, then it was the 4-6, and then it was just a whole bunch of mess on the deck for a strike there. All right. Kurt right now looks like he's trying to shoot a Dutch double here. All right, Brian up on lane 34. Let's see if he can adjust from that 7-10 he left. Oh, look at that. And Brian trips a 4-9 of his own. Oh my goodness, and Kurt missed that. So that's an open in the fourth for Kurt. And just so you know, waiting in the wings for the non-champs is Cody Mullen, who is the tournament leader. And in the champs, it's Tom Jamrod. And Brian comes in much better shape on that one, but it leaves the weak 10. Zach looking to triple up. Oh, and he does. He's got 3 in a row. And Brian covers his 10 pin. Brian currently trails by 32. Zach currently leads by a whole bunch here. 28 officially on the scoreboard, but on 3 in a row. That one comes a little high, leaves the 3-6-10. Increases his lead right there, now by 33, excuse me. That 6-pin doesn't kick out, dies in the gutter, and Tanner is left with a 10-pin to pick up. Oh, and Zach gets it the hard way. But he stays clean. And Tanner covers that 10 pin nicely. So after 4 frames in the Tournament of Champions, Tanner Triggs is trailing 56 to 68. And Kurt comes in light, leaves the 2-4-8. So some more statistics here for 50 seasons of KSBO. So in our 50 seasons, we've had 31 presidents, 25 vice presidents, 4 secretary treasurers, 8 sergeant of arms, and Tanner leaves another 10 pin. And we've had 103 directors. We have had 19 bowlers selected to the KSBO Hall of Fame. And Kurt chops that one, gives himself a back-to-back opens. There have been 25 Open Rookies of the Year. There have been 38 Open Bowlers of the Year. There have been 14 Under Bowlers of the Year. And we have had 197 bowlers named to the KSBO All-Star team. And are you ready for this stat? This kind of shocked me. So 50 seasons, mind you, and one of those seasons was shortened because of COVID. There have been 229,520 games thrown. All right, Kurt gets a strike. That makes for a total pinfall of 44,964,007. It's a lot of pins, which gives KSBO a 50 season average of 195.91. Kind of a little interesting tidbit there. Oh, now that one was a little high. I would not have gotten upset with a 4 pin on that, but he leaves the 4, 6, 7. Or is that the 9 pin? No, that's the 9 pin. So the 4, 7, 9. Holy crap. And Zach gets a strike. Oh, nice cover. Nice cover. That might save his match right there. All right, so let me give you a little bit of history of this tournament too. So this is the 38th year of the tournament. The first champs, non-champs tournament was held here at All-Star Lanes on April 19th, 1986. It was sponsored by Stroh's and Stroh's Light. We had a total of 96 bowlers for that tournament. 76 of them were non-champions and 20 of them were champions. And at the time, it was KSBO's largest turnout. And Zach gets another strike to double up. And on the non-champion side, Rob King defeated Sharm Elkhart 204 to 190 to earn his first title. And on the champion side, Steve Forrest defeated Bob Rentz to earn his 16th title. And Brian goes right through the face on that one. There was no King of the Hill. We added it the following year in 1987. Since the inception of this tournament, though, there have only been 6 bowlers that have won the Triple Crown, winning the non-champs, the champs, and the King of the Hill. And Kurt gets another strike. That gives him 2 in a row. Those bowlers are Greg Parker, Jim Hood, Warren Cox, Tim Clemens, Dane Chapone, and Ryan Jamrod. And only one bowler in the 38 seasons we've done this, only one bowler has ever won the non-champs and repeated the following year to win the champions event. And that was Ryan Jamrod, who did that last year. Of the 36 King of the Hills, a non-champion has won 15 times. Oh, and Kurt leaves a whole lot of mess with the 1, 2, 8, 10, and I don't know what happened there. happened? What happened? He should have had the 1, 2, 8, 10. Oh, there we go. All right. All right, Zach got it. Go ahead and call that in. Yeah, go ahead and call it in. Yeah. So for some reason, the scoring gave Kurt a strike in the 8th frame when it should have been the 1, 2, 8, 10. And Tanner's just going to step back and regroup. And while we're waiting here, so we also did a moment of silence for some KSBO members that have passed over the years. All right, so it looks like we're good to go here. Oh, and Tanner gets the messenger to come all the way across. It tickles the 10 pin, but the 10 pin does not fall. And Kurt's got his 1, 2, 8, 10 up there. And he takes out 3 of them. But that is an open in the 8th. So, so our deceased members, so we have quite a few, unfortunately. John Marshall, Pierre Almason, Bill Stone, Jim Adams, Joe Gordon, Frank Ostrom, Tanner Covers, Larry Hillman, George Schaefer, which we have a tournament name for him, Jerry Nelson, Jeff Schwinneman, Jim Hood, Don Sharkey, Neil Baker, John Dixon, Ben Gilliett, Larry Brown, Kip Nelson, Gary Riggins, Denny Martin, Warren Hope, Gene Harris, Mitch Guckert, Frank Tower, Jim Hollis, Fred Nally, Dave Pierce, Tom Bright, and Nick Blair Sr. And although he didn't bowl KSBO, the owner of Talbot Excavating, Tyler Talbot, he has sponsored, or his company has sponsored the non-champs for 10 seasons in a row. So we gave all those members a nice moment of silence. All right, so Zach now has 3 in a row going into the 8th frame. He's leading 177 to 131. Brian's got the 4 pin to pick, or the 2 pin to pick up. Zach goes a little high, leaves the 3, 6, 10. And Brian covers. So after 7 frames of the Champions Tournament, Brian Irwin still has a slim lead, 122 to 115. And as I mentioned earlier, we had 27 champions, but we actually had more. So we had some of our champions show up that didn't bowl, but they did take part in our Parade of Champions. So the champions that showed up today were Keith Beck with 1 title, AJ Brockett with 1 title, Christina Baystrom with 1 title, Leo Ellis with 1 title, Allison Oak, KSBO's longest serving secretary treasurer. She showed up. She had 1 title, so she participated in the Parade of Champions. Mike Karch, which you saw earlier, 1 title. Eric Lundgren, 1 title. Anthony Sanders, 1 title. And Brandon Van Winkle with 1 title. And Kirk gets a strike in the 9th. Then we also had Gary Coleman with 2 titles, Mike Craig Jr. with 2 titles, Austin Gratzer with 2 titles, Scott Howerson with 2 titles, Brian Irwin, which is bowling right now, and gets a nice spare with 2 titles. Lisa Barfield with 3 titles. Myself, Leo Finari, with 3 titles. Ryan Showalter with 3 titles. And Kurt gets a second strike. And then we had Cameron Curley, Charlie Lynch, Steve Soto, and Tanner Triggs, who is up on the approach right now, all with 4 titles. Spencer Ludwig with 5 titles. Curtis Messer Sr. with 6 titles. Casey Jamrog and Jeremy Sear, both with 8 titles. And Tanner gets a much needed strike right there. We also had Nick Bachteller with 9 titles. Dane Chapone with 10 titles. Ryan and Tom Jamrog with 11 titles. Gabby Galbraith, who was one of our original founding members, with 14 titles. Henry Dawson, up here from Elma Lanes in Elma, Washington, with 15 titles. Gary Heilman with 17 titles. Mike Van Winkle came out to say hello with 17 titles. Tim Clemens and Mike Hansen, both with 18 titles. And our KSBO all-time leader in so many categories, with the biggest one being the Open Division title holder with 113 titles. So that was all the champions that showed up. It was very nice to see some of them. There's a few of them that don't bowl anymore. But it was good that they came out to celebrate our 50th anniversary. All right, so Tanner doubled up. That was a much needed double for him. Going into the 10th frame, outstanding foundation frame. And Kurt Streff in the meantime finished at 180. And Zach Cox is going to defeat him. Kurt will finish in 3rd place. He'll take home $275. And Zach is going to walk the ladder here today. He's going to get the opportunity to take on the #1 seed. Coming all the way from 5th place for a chance at the championship. And Brian leaves a 7-pin there. And Zach finishes with a really nice game of 233. So Zach Cox defeats Kurt Strepp 233 to 180. And Zach will move on to face your tournament leader in Cody Moen. And Brian Spill gets a strike, finishes with the game of 187. Okay, so for Tanner, right now he's got 155. So he needs 32 pins to tie. Could really use this strike right here. Oh, and he gets the 10 pin. All right, so that currently gives him 182. He needs to cover this. That'll give him 184, and he'll need 4 pins or better to win. Misses it. Brian moves on. His tournament light on the line right here. Boom. And he gets it. So now all he needs, 3 pins to tie, 4 pins to win. And that will do it. So Tanner Triggs defeats Brian Irwin 194 to 187. Brian will finish in 3rd place and take home a check for $195. All right, we'll be back with the championship match.
All right, so in your Garage Bar Girl Tournament non-champions, Zach Cox defeats Kurt Strepp 233 to 180. Zach moves on to face the tournament leader in Cody Mullen. And in the Talbot Excavating Tournament of Champions, Tanner Triggs defeats Brian Irwin in a close match, 194-187. Tanner moves on to face the tournament leader, Tom Janrock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Want me to hit it?
I'll get it.
It should be good.
Is there a limit on rereps? Because 35 has been pretty bad.
Yeah, go ahead and reset it. All right, here we go, our championship match. In your Garage Barn Grill Tournament of Non-Champions, we have the number 5 seed in Zach Cox trying to walk the ladder all the way to the championship, facing the number 1 seed of Cody Moen, who has led this tournament since qualifying. And in your Talbot Excavating Tournament of Champions, we have the number 3 seed Tanner Triggs, who led the tournament in qualifying, facing the current tournament leader, Tom Jamrog. Tom, being the higher qualifier, wants to go first, and he starts off with a strike. Same with Cody, he wants to start off first. And Cody starts off with a solid 9-pin. This is our championship match. This is for all the marbles. The winners of these 2 matches will go face off against each other head to head for that Eagle trophy you see on the screen. The champions champ will move over to lanes 35 and 36 to face the non-champions champ. And the King of the Hill will also receive an additional $100 on top of their championship prize money. Okay, so Zach Cox right now is trying to do a rare feat. I mean, it has been done before, but it's not that often to go all the way from the number 5. All right, Tanner gets lucky there. He went right through the face. Looks like he let up a little bit on his speed. Very lucky to only leave the 610. And Zach, who's had a good look all day, continues. So for those of you who may be just tuning in, how did we get to where we're at? So in our very first match, we had number 5 seed Zach Cox, which is bowling right now, up against the number 4 seed Rafe Barone. He defeated them 226-223. Then he moved on and defeated Stu McMaster 217-192, and then defeated Kurt Strepp, the number 2 seed, 233-180, and now he is in the championship match. In our Tournament of Champions, we had number 5 seed Nick Bachteller up against number 4 seed Mike Karch, and Mike defeated Nick 256-213. Mike then ran into Tanner and lost 210-166. And then Tanner barely held on to defeat Brian Irwin 194-187. And Tanner chopped his 610. Meantime, Tom has snapped off 2 in a row. Zach is left with a 4-pin here. Oh, and he whiffs the 4-pin. Ouch. Now Tom has 3 in a row, so early on, Tom has a commanding lead. And Cody leads the 10 pin. Once again, if you are just tuning in, this is the KSBO Tournament of Champions. The 38th Tournament of Champions. We are at All-Star Lanes. It is the 10th of February. We are in our championship match with the number 5 seed Zach Cox against the number 1 seed Cody Moen in the non-champions, and the number 3 Tanner Triggs against the number 1 Tom Jamrod in the champs. Tanner right now is going for a 10 pin, and he gets it. All right, so for Cody Moen, who's taking a re-rack, Cody today shot games of 218, 201, 190, 194, and 246 to finish with a 1049, and was the tournament leader after the end of qualifying. And he gets the nice kick on the 4 pin for his first strike. In the semifinals, he shot 233, 208, and 258, winning 2 and tying 1 for 75 bonus pins to finish at 1823 and the number 1 seed. And he led the tournament from qualifying through the semis, and now is your number 1 seed. And Tanner just got stoned right there. Pull it together, kid. And Zach leads the week 10. 6 pin just kind of tumbled in the gutter. And Tanner picks up his spare. All right, good cover there by Zach. So after 3 frames, Zach is trailing by 11 pins, 49 to 38. Tom pulled that one. Oh, extremely high up on the head pin, but he carries it anyway. That is 4 in a row for Tom. And now has a 33 pin over Tanner, 90 to 57. Oh, ouch. And Zach leads the 5-7 split. I agree with you, Lauren. Oh, and Tom's streak ends at 4. Whiffs the pocket, leaves the 1-2-4. Oh, bummer. All right, so that is the second open for Zach. Both of them on lane 35. So maybe Cody knew something there, making Zach start on 36. The last 3 matches, Zach has started on 35. So maybe, don't know. Tom has a spare in the 5th. Currently leading Tanner by 60 pins. Come on, kid, let's get it together. Cody goes Brooklyn, leaves the 3-pin. Leave an opportunity for Zach to come back. And once again, those of you watching on Facebook, I apologize for the flickers. Ouch, big 4. Come on, Tanner. Big 4. Anyway, so apologize for the flickering. The internet here is not very good, and I keep losing my signal a little bit. So I'm just thankful that it hasn't dropped me completely right now. So, all right, Tanner, let's give this one a run. Cody's got a spare in the 4th. Take it. Chops one off. That's an open in the 5th. It's the second open of the match. Trailing by 47 pins. Over here in the non-champs, Cody's taking another re-rack. 35 keeps off-spotting pins. Currently leading Zach 69 to 55 after 4. Oh, and we got a Greek church. So Cody went right through the face on that one. He has the 4, 6, 7, 9, 10. Those of us in the bowling profession call that the Greek church. And Tanner made an adjustment, leaves the 4-pin. He's getting frustrated. This may be Zach's opening here. Cody takes out 3. That's an open in the 5th. All right, opportunity for Zach. Tanner needs to regroup. He's got 4 more frames to go. Covers that 4-pin. Excuse me. So right now, max score for Tom is 277. All right, there you go, Zach. That is a strike on lane 36. Let's see if he can double up here. That will do him some much needed catching up there. And Tom goes Brooklyn, leaves the 6-pin. Now his max score goes down to 266. Tanner can shoot, punch out for 210. Zach gave that one some room, and he smacks that one off. Gives him a double. Closes that gap a little bit. Actually, he's taking over the lead just a hair, but he is 1 frame ahead. Tom covers his 6-pin. But maybe that's gonna build some confidence in Zach. Cody comes in. Oh, that was nice and flush. All right, so after 6 frames, Cody is leading by 7 pins. It's 92 to 85. Zach is on a double. That does good for Zach. Tom coming up on lane 33. I don't think I ever read Tom's scores. Tom goes right through the nose. Very luckily only leave the 4-pin. Let's see, so for Tom, Tom went 275, 195, 185, 226, and 247. That was an 11:28 qualifying score as Cody, that 6-pin wraps around the 10, also known as the wrap 10. In the semis, Tom shot 236, 209, and 277, winning 2 and tying 1 for 75 bonus pins, which made him the #1 seed. And he does cover that spare. All right, and Cody covers his spare. All right, Tanner needs to take a breath here, trailing by 75 pins. Looks good. Flush. All right, way to go, kid. That's a strike in the 7th. All right, Zach stepping up on lane 36, working on a double. Trailing by 27. Sit. That's 3 in a row. And we now have a lead change. Now Zach Cox leads 115 to 112, the slimmest of margins. Tanner looking for 2 in a row. Oh! And he gets a strike. That is 2 in a row for Tanner. All right, Zach stepping up on lane 35, looking for 4 in a row. Widen that lead. Look good off his hand. Brooklyn. Brooklyn's are strikes too. That is 4 in a row. Tom stepping up on lane 34. Working on his spare, leading by 35. Right through the nose, leaves the 3-6-10. He's hanging around for Tanner. Cody up on 36. Okay, he gets a strike in the 8th. Now trails 145 to 132. Oh, and Tom almost chopped that one. That would have been disastrous. But he does cover. So after 8 frames, Tom leads 172 to 120. All right, Cody gets 2 in a row. Nice foundation frame. Max score for Cody is 212. Max score for Zach is 235. Tom's coming up in the 8th. Gets a strike. Good foundation frame. Max score for Tom is 232. Max score for Tanner is 210. Zach coming up on 36, needs this strike. Oh. All right. Let up on speed just a little bit. Left with the 4-7. All right, Tanner gets 3 in a row. He's trying. He needs to fill the 10th. Keep pressure on Tom. I heard somebody say in the crowd, don't give up. Come on, kid. Finish strong. All right, Zach, cover this spare. All right, good cover. Good foundation. Now leads by 21 pins, 173, 152. Max scores 213. Max score for Cody's 212. Tanner leads a 10 pin. Tanner was really hoping for that strike. It's not over yet. Cover your 10 pin. Zach needs a strike here. He needs all 3 strikes to shut out Cody. Max score 213 to Cody's 212. Sit. Nice strike. Nice strike. All right, and Tanner covers his spare. Max score for Tanner is now 189. Tom's currently at 192, so it is over. Tom will be your Talbot Excavating Tournament of Champions champion. Tanner will go home in second place. Uh-oh. Zach needed that strike. Now his max score is only 203. All right, Tanner finishes with 186. Don't hang your head, kid. You bowled really well today. That's right, and Zach finishes with a 203. Very nice bowling today. Went 226, 217, 233, and 203 in the finals. It's not over yet. Cody could have a misstep here. All right, that's the first one in the 10th. We could still have a tie. Cody's still trailing by 21 pins. A strike here, he will put him in the lead. Oh! Almost has the 7-10. Then he has the 10. Then he kicks the 10 for the strike. Now all Cody needs is 2 pins to take home the Tournament of Non-Champions title. And Tom finishes with a really nice game of 241. Cody finishes with 211. Zach finishes in second place, almost walks the ladder from the number 5 seed. Takes home a check for $325. Cody will go home with a check of $500. Tom will go home with a check for $450. Tanner will go home with a check for $275. But we are not done. Now, Tom Jamrog will move over to lanes 35 and 36 and face Cody for the King of the Hill. So we'll be right back in just a second with our King of the Hill match.
All right, and your Tournament of Non-Champions sponsored by the Garage Bar and Grill. In a very close match, Cody Moen defeats Zach Cox, 211 and 203 to be your non-champions champion. In your Talbot Estimating Tournament of Champions, Tom Jamrod defeats Tanner Triggs, 241-186. Tom is your Tournament of Champions champion. Now, Tom will move over to lanes 35 and 36 to face Cody Moen for the King of the Hill and the coveted Eagle Trophy. No practice. Cody, you have choice.
You're going to start? Okay.
I think we'll wait for now.
All right. Shake hands. Great bowling today.
Thank you, man.
All right, and Cody starts off with a strike. We're going to move our camera here just a little bit. Oops. It would help if I loosened it up a little. There we go. And Tom goes right through the nose, leaves the 6-7-10 split. All right, that's an open for Tom. He's looking for Tanner. Okay. All right, Tom coming up on lane 35. All right, and Tom gets a strike. And Cody leaves a weak 10. And he covers. Over the King of the Hill. Oh, you didn't want to do another check?
Did you put all the banners away?
The ones that were over there?
Yeah.
I think Milt put them in a box and took them home.
Did he?
Yeah, I think
Because
so.
I took mine and stuff out of it,
Uh-huh.
and now they're missing. I don't know if somebody put them back.
All right, we can message Milt, see if he took them
Yeah,
home.
I mean it's fine. I I even looked in the garbage can, so someone picked them up. And
Oh,
threw them
nobody
away.
would have thrown them
I
away.
wouldn't think so. But yeah, I rolled them up and put them on my bag, and now they're missing. So
Okay.
yeah, Steph had the 2, and I had 1. So.
Yeah. Well, there was one of Steph's still up down there too. Down at the very
Like a
end.
colored one?
Like one that had Steph.
No, I got that one.
Oh, you got that one. Okay.
There's the Steph McMaster, and then the
Yeah.
S Sharky,
Right.
and then my S McMaster.
Okay. All right. Well,
Hopefully somebody put them back and not fucking blocked off.
maybe they threw them back on the pile.
Maybe.
Because
maybe
Milt
they
was
were
going to throw them
sitting,
away, and I said, no, don't throw them
people
away.
would've
Just put them in a
taken
box. So we'll keep an eye out for it.
Okay.
And I'll let you know.
Next tournament or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. That's kind of irritating because I actually pulled them out because I wanted to put them home.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. And we're back. All right, so we are in 3 frames. Cody has 47, and Tom, pinning the spare, will have 39. Just barely. All right, so for those of you wondering, our entries for the KSBO 35th annual are out. We'll be posting them on Facebook shortly. That is March 9th and 10th. Back here at All-Star Lanes. All-Star Lanes and Access Point Pro Shop are sponsoring. Max combined score is 624. You can have 1 non-KSBO member on your team. Before that, we'll be up at Laurel Lanes for a regular singles tournament. If you need Laurel Lanes for qualifying for the tournament or for the grand finals, there is one more up at Laurel after the next tournament. That would be the Eliminator. So if you need Laurel Lanes for the grand finals, make sure you show up for that one. All right, Tom covers his spare. All right, and Cody gets a strike in the 4th or in the 5th. Nope, that was the 4th. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong side. Leading by 10 pins, 67 to 57. All right, and that's a second strike, so he doubles up. This match is for the Eagle Trophy and an additional $100. Oh, and a stone 9. All right, so we're halfway through the King of the Hill match. Cody Moan is leading Tom Jamrog by 11 pins, 87 to 76. Cody is on a double. Again, this is for bragging rights, the Eagle Trophy, and an additional $100 on top of the money they've already won by winning their respective tournament. All right, and Tom gets a strike, only his second of the match. Woo! And Cody gets 3 in a row. That one was a hot rocket to the pocket. I've got competition.
I did Facebook too.
Ooh, and there's 4 in a row for Cody, and takes a commanding 51 pin lead.
Exactly. It's true. Oh, and Tom leaves a week 7 or week 10.
That's crazy. 16 down.
So if Cody pulls this off, he will be only the 16th bowler in the history of the King of the Hill. He'll be the 16th non-champion to win the Eagle Trophy. And then next year when we have the Tournament of Champions, Cody will be in the champions side, and we'll see if he can repeat what Ryan Jamrog did, winning the non-champs, then coming back the next year to win the champs. And interesting fact, Lonnie Sharkey still holds the record of back-to-back-to-back King of the Hills. And Tom gets a strike there in the 8th. Oh, and he leaves the 4 pin, so his string ends at 4. Still has a 40 pin lead over Tom. So before this match finishes, I would like to give a shout out to our tournament sponsors, Talbot Excavating and the champions, the Garage Bar and Grill and the non-champions, and to our 50th season sponsor, Lakeside Industries. Without our sponsors, these tournaments would not be as successful. We really appreciate their generosity. We also appreciate you, the bowlers, and you, the supporters and viewers of KSBO. I do this for you guys, and I enjoy doing it. Oh, another 10. Our next tournament will be up at Laurel Lanes in 2 weeks. And then after that, we got the Swiss Trios back here at All-Star. So I will be doing a reserve a spot on Facebook for the Swiss Trios, or you can turn in your entry form at the front desk of All-Star or iJoy, or you can email them to KSBO, ksbo@gmail.com, or you can email them to me, lpfanari@gmail. Or you can just let me know on Facebook. Let me know what your whole team, and the averages. We'll have to verify averages. It is a 3-year composite average. The tournament rules are on the back of the entry form. Again, I will post that on Facebook. You can have one non-KSBO bowler on your trios team. We are coming down to the 9th frame. All right, so Tom Jamrog, his max score, 196. Cody Moen is currently at 195. So unless Cody goes gutter, Cody will win the King of the Hill. And we have a 5-pin.
Get it. Got the 5-pin.
And Tom finishes with 185.
Finish with 185.
And that makes it official. Cody is your 38th annual Tournament of Champions and Non-Champions King of the Hill winner, and wins an extra $100. So nice payday for Cody, $600 total, plus whatever he won in the side pots and brackets. Tom, still not a bad day, takes home a check for $450. This is for King of the Hill.
That one's about right.
All right, and that'll do it. Cody Moen defeats Tom Jamrog, 234, 185, and is your King of the Hill champion. And we're going to be right back to hand out some money.
All right, so in your Tournament of Champions and Non-Champions King of the Hill match, Cody Moen defeats Tom Jamrog, 234-185, to become the 16th non-champion to win the King of the Hill and the coveted Eagle Trophy. Congratulations, Cody.
Tim, have them stand this way. No, you're fine there. Have them stand that way. When they come up, have them stand that way.
All right, so in your garage bar and grill tournament of non-champions, finishing in 5th place for $240, Rafe Barone. Finishing in 4th place for $260, Stu McMaster. Finishing in 3rd place for $275, Kurt Streck. Finishing in 2nd place for $325, Zach Cox. And your winner of the Garage Bar and Grill Tournament of Non-Champions for $500, plus an extra $100 for King of the Hill, Cody Moen. And in your Calvin Estimating Tournament of Champions,
Well, don't put them out there.
finishing in 5th place for $170, Nick Bachteller. He had the lead, so he's already collected his check. Finishing in 4th place for $180, Mike Parch. Finishing in 3rd place for $195, Brian Irwin. Finishing in 2nd place for $275, Tanner Triggs. And the winner of the Talbot Estimating Tournament of Champions for 2024, Tom Jamrog, and $450.
I was going to say, 2024.
All right, I'd like to thank our tournament sponsors, the Garage Bar and Grill for the Tournament of Non-Champions, Talbot Estimating for the Tournament Champions, our season sponsor, Lakeside Industries. Also, the management and staff here at All-Star Lanes, thank you very much. You've been gracious hosts. Those of you who still have stuff down in the settee, please clear it out so they can start getting set up for rock and roll.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us here at All-Star Lanes. I thank you very much for tuning in. We will see you in 2 weeks when we're up at Laurel Lanes. So with that, on behalf of the KSBO Board of Directors, this is Leo Finari with Party Foul Productions and your KSBO Vice President. I'd like to thank our tournament sponsors, Talbot Excavating for the Tournament of Champions and the Garage Bar and Grill for the Tournament of Non-Champions, and you, the bowlers who showed up today. It was a great tournament. 64 bowlers. And we'll see you up at Laurel Lanes. All right, we're out. Have a good night.